Hey everyone, welcome to Relatively Refined. My name is Paula. In today's video, I'm going to take you with me as I head out on the town and hit up some of my local antique and vintage stores. I am in search of some fall inspiration. Not necessarily in the form of things that I'm going to buy and bring home, but I'm looking for some inspiration in the way that they have their items displayed so that I might be able to take some of those ideas and bring them home to my house. All right, let's get started. Well, it's a beautiful day today here in South Carolina, and it's a perfect day to take a drive and hit up some of my favorite little antique and vintage stores that I haven't been to in a while and see what they have out and what they've got displayed for fall. Fall is my favorite season, so I love the colors and I love all of the autumnal tones that you see out and about. All right, here is my first stop, and right off the bat, I spotted this beautiful candlestick. It was actually a pair. And if I am not mistaken, I think they were $16 for the pair. Now, I did not pick them up, and I'm not exactly sure why, except that in my mind, I was just looking for inspiration, not necessarily to buy things, but I may have to go back and check those out. And look at that gorgeous cornucopia. I could imagine that filled with gourds and pumpkins kind of spilling out on a big farm table or in front of a fireplace. This little teapot was darling, with the bear sipping his tea, reading his newspaper or his book. I thought it was so precious. It's $62. How cute is that? It reminds me of something that I did find out and about while I was thrifting, which I will share with you later in the video. And then we actually have that Bites on a Board book, which is a really lovely book all about how to create a charcuterie board. The first stop was just full of that fall glory that I love. And here's a little sneak peek at Christmas. I couldn't help myself. I do love vintage Christmas ornaments. And these were calling my name, so I went over to check them out. I am in search of some of those handmade vintage ornaments that were like maybe satin covered, and they had push pins in them with sequins and beads. I can remember my grandmother had some of those. I wish I had them. So this Christmas, I am on the search for some of those handmade vintage ornaments with the sequins and the beads in them. All right, well, that was a sneak peek at Christmas, but my task today is to get some autumn inspiration. So let's keep checking it out. And then this one thrift store I went into had this really very cool buggy as part of the display. And it was in really beautiful condition. The leather on the seat was perfect, and they had those black and orange pumpkins draped around it. Really fun to see. I thought this painted table was stunning, as was the box on top of it. I'm a sucker for hand-painted items. Actually, anything handmade, really. I love handmade items. I have a hard time resisting them. If I see them in a thrift store, I almost have to rescue them because I can't stand the thought of somebody's time and love that went into creating that being left in a thrift store. So I make it my mission to rescue those items. And here is a little stack of dishes. This is one of my all-time favorite dish patterns. I believe this is Indian Tree by Johnson Brothers. And this was just an assortment of some random plates. There was a dinner plate and a couple of, salad plates or bread and butter plates. But unfortunately, all of them had big chips out of them. So I did leave those behind. And of course, that is upside down. But let's see when we turn it around. Yes, it is Indian Tree by Johnson Brothers, England. I love the colors on those dishes. And who can resist brown stoneware bowls? These were so big and chunky. They reminded me of my Grandma Bunny and some mixing bowls that she had when I was a little girl. I love chunky pottery bowls like that. And these two seem to be in perfect condition. I was looking to see if they were McCoy because I absolutely love anything McCoy. I don't believe they were. And the price, let's see, the price is $35. Again, for an antique store, I thought that was a very, very fair price. How pretty would those look with pears or small pumpkins? And then these chairs. Look at those gorgeous stenciled chairs. When I was a little girl, my Grandma Bunny had a table in her kitchen in the house where my sister Kathleen now lives. And she had a little square table that had two leaves that folded down and made into a rectangle, but she kept the leaves up in a square shape. And she had 4 black chairs around it that had a hand-painted design, much like this at the top, only I think the ones on her chairs, or the design on her chairs, was only in gold. But I thought those chairs were absolutely beautiful. I'm still thinking about possibly going back and seeing how sturdy they are, because I'd love them for my to put around my table. Okay, this book, The Beverly Gray's Island Mystery. When I did my video about autumn reads, I mentioned that I love Nancy Drew, and one of our viewers wrote in about Beverly Gray mysteries, that they were similar to Nancy Drew, but they had just not gotten the play or the popularity of Nancy Drew, and I had not heard of them until just now when I saw that Beverly Gray mystery book. I did not bring it home, but I still think I may go back and check it out. I'd love to read it because I had not heard of Beverly Gray before. I had heard of Hardy Boys and Cherry Ames, Girl Nurse, and Nancy Drew, of course, but not Beverly Gray. These bowls were so pretty. That butterscotch color is one of my favorite colors for fall. And then these fun crocks were so pretty with the cream color and then the black graphics on them. Gorgeous. Vintage potted meat crock for $28. Again, I thought a very fair price. Those look great with wooden spoons, or actually one of my favorite things to do with a stoneware crock in the fall is to put a mum in it. There's a silhouette of a lady with her cap on. And there is her very dapper silhouette partner with his top hat. All right, this little mustard crock was so darling. The French mustard pot for $5. Again, I did not bring it home, spoiler alert. All of these things have sort of been on my mind, and I'm thinking to myself, why didn't I pick that up? But honestly, I don't really need it, but it is so darling. Very, very cute. And then this is so awesome. This is a metal dollhouse. This was fabulous. Here's the front. So this is what it looked like on the outside. I loved this dollhouse. I think it would be so fun to have a dollhouse and to furnish it. I think it was $75. When I was a little girl, I'd see dollhouses like that, and we had our Fisher-Price Little People dollhouse, and I could imagine myself as an adult, you know, it was pretending to live in a house like that. I had a wonderful imagination, and we played with those little people all the time. And you saw that dollhouse, the interior on the other side was so fancy. I could, as a little girl, it would be so fun to just imagine yourself living in that dollhouse. Kind of like how I want to live in a Susan Branch book now. Beautiful coffee set with the coffee pot and the creamer and sugar and those pink roses. And I couldn't resist. How cute are these little figurines? I think they're all salt and pepper shakers, but I thought they were so cute and kitschy, I couldn't help myself. Another beautiful cream and sugar set. That would look so pretty in the winter time. You know, the blues and creams with your evergreen branches. I think it's a very beautiful color combination. This tin was so lovely. The colors on it I found to be stunning. I had so much fun just looking around. I love to see how each of the booth owners display things. It really gets my creative juices flowing and gives me ideas for my own house. This wire urn reminded me of my sister Kathleen. She has an urn problem in the same way I have a teapot problem. And she has found some beautiful urns, one of which is a gorgeous French wire urn. And she showed that in a video a while back. And if I can find that video, I will link it. And now these dishes. Okay, let me tell you about these dishes. These are Falstaff brown drip dishes, and I love them. My Grandma Bunny had these dishes as her fancy dishes for holidays and big family dinners. And this is what she would serve Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner on every year. And I used to stare at those dishes. She had them in a hutch in her dining room in the house that my sister Kathleen lives in. And I can just remember those. She would dust them and they just sat up there, and I love them. They are so nostalgic for me. So I have decided that I want to collect these Falstaff brown drip dishes. And I was lucky enough to find some on Facebook Marketplace that I picked up. And it was just some cups and saucers and bread and butter plates and some bowls. But I am now going to start collecting enough so that I can serve Thanksgiving dinner to my kids on those dishes. And I think I'm going to go back and purchase a few of those dinner plates this week. I didn't purchase any on the day I was there, but because I was heading out to pick the Facebook Marketplace package up, and I wasn't sure what was in it. Okay, look at this gorgeous vase. That Hull vase is stunning. I loved all of these vases, and they made such a statement all together. You may hear Phoebe snoring in the background. She usually is when I'm recording a video. Isn't that planter stunning though, with that kind of chartreuse green and the pink base? Lovely. All of those things in that booth were gorgeous. And then here's some beautiful clear glass. These mantle lusters were gorgeous. And I think that they would look absolutely stunning on my sister Patty's fireplace mantle. I could see them with the flickering candle in them, absolutely beautiful. Although those may have been electrified, I'm not sure. Then of course the blue and white Delft, another thing that I am always drawn to. And some clear blue glass. It makes such an impact when you have all of those pieces kind of clustered together. And then all of these steins with the Toby mug right here. The Toby mugs are fun because sometimes the handles are made to look like something that would be appropriate for whatever the person is that's represented by that Toby mug. Now, I don't know who that was or who that was supposed to be. That might have just been a generic mug, but sometimes you'll have like a William Shakespeare Toby mug or a Headless Horseman Toby mug or something like that. Okay, here's an example of that. This is a Benjamin Franklin Toby mug, and it has the quill pen, the feather pen, as the handle for that Toby mug. They're so fun to look at. Not something that I collect, but it is a fun collection to have. And these this cream and sugar set with the silhouettes was so pretty. It's the old Curiosity Shop in the green and white. I love that color green. I believe this booth is my friend Kim from the Painted Cottage. I believe this is her booth. She has a very distinctive style. And by the way, I did end up giving her that really pretty chippy white painted iron wall sconce, and she loved it. It was so her style. I just couldn't hang on to it in good conscience. I knew it would be gorgeous in her house, and it was just something that seemed so perfectly Kim. If I can remember, I will link the video where I shared that in the iCards above. And she so generously gifted me with a little brown and tan stoneware pitcher, which is perfect for me. Here's some more beautiful dishware in those gorgeous fall colors. In my house, my fall decorating is really about bringing in those colors. So I do it through the use of things you find in nature, in dishes, excuse me, candles. I do have some pretty velvet pumpkins that I bring out. And when we get home, I'm going to share with you how I've taken the inspiration that I'm gaining by visiting these shops and translating that into my own decor. So stay tuned to the end for some fall decorating. That platter is absolutely beautiful. I love those colors. Well, I've had a great time out and about checking out all of my favorite antique and vintage stores for some fall inspiration, and there was plenty to be had. So now it's time to get back in the car and head on home and turn that inspiration into some creativity in my own home and start to sprinkle the seeds of autumn all around my own house. Won't you join me? Let's go. Let's start out with a fall craft project. All right, here's a look at what I have for my pine cone garland. I bought 3 bags of these mini pine cones at Hobby Lobby. I don't know exactly how many I'll need, but I didn't want to run out, and so they had 3 there, and I bought 3. There's a sneak peek at one of my future projects. I have some twine, just burlap twine. I've got my glue sticks, my hot glue gun, a pair of scissors, and then over here is the twine that I'm going to glue the pine cones to. And I have tied a simple loop on each end of this so that I can hang the garland when I'm done. So I'm going to get started and see how it goes. It looks to be a kind of tedious project, so excuse me, I think I'll put on a good movie, a fall movie, and sit down and get working. So what this entails is simply gluing these pine cones to this twine and then hanging it, in front of a fireplace or something. And as I said before, it is rather tedious work, but it didn't take terribly long for me to finish it. And I simply put on a good fall movie and sat down and fired up my glue gun and got to gluing these pine cones on. Now, I saw this originally on Instagram in a post by an Instagrammer named Sincerely Marie. And if I can find that picture again, I will stick it right here on the screen so you can see what hers looked like and then compare it to mine, which hopefully hers is beautiful. So I don't know how beautiful mine will be, but I'm hoping it will turn out nice enough for me to actually hang up in my house. So I'm just going to continue to glue and string these pine cones. Okay, here's where I've gotten so far. I am about halfway through, and I've used about 1.5 bags of the pine cones. So hopefully I have enough. Now, I have this much more to go, which seems like a lot, and I don't know that I have that many pine cones. So I may be having to make an emergency trip back to Hobby Lobby before all is said and done. But that's what I've got left for the pine cones and then 1 full bag. So I'm going to keep on going. All right, here is a look at the finished product. I got this beautiful frayed velvet ribbon from Hobby Lobby as well. And in all transparency, I am a few handfuls short of pine cones. So I am going to have to go back to Hobby Lobby and get a few more. I sort of spread them out at the end, so I have some spots on the right-hand side. You can see some bare spots that I need to fill in, but once I fill those in, I think it will be gorgeous. And overall, I am very, very pleased with the way that turned out. And it really didn't take that much. It didn't take a lot of effort. It just was a little bit tedious. But as I said, I put on a movie and just enjoyed myself. So I'm very happy with that result. And now that I have that up, let me take you around and show you some ways in which I have added some fall touches to my home. And some of this was inspired by my trip today. This set of teacups I actually got at the Habitat for Humanity Restore. They are beautiful. I believe they are spode. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I will put on the screen the name of the pattern and the maker. I just love the fall colors in them. And then I have a stoneware crock tucked back in there with some pheasant feathers. And I did find that stoneware crock at Goodwill of all places. And then I have those beautiful books, which I got off of Instagram. My little dog figurines. I'm a sucker for dog figurines. And then you can see I just added some natural elements. Well, these are actually faux natural elements, but bittersweet I don't think grows down here in the South. So I had to get the faux version of it. But I can remember as a little girl going out with my mom to cut down bittersweet in the woods to make for wreaths and things in the fall, and it was so fun. It grows along like stone walls, and actually it's kind of an invasive vine if it gets going, and it will choke out other trees, but it is so pretty. And I did find that big giant pine cone on the path behind our house. Over here I have just some more faux flowers, or faux, I guess that you call it greenery, even though it's kind of orange. And then you can see that I have underneath it that beautiful tray that I thrifted, and I shared that in a haul a couple of weeks back. And then some fall leaves that Trudy found. They were the first fall leaves that she found. They've sort of dried up and turned brown, but I thought it was fun to have them there on that tray. The table runner that I have over top of the dresser was a gift from my mom. And I love the colors there. It's just about bringing in those autumn tones. A lot of the decor in my house has those autumn tones in it, and I keep it up year round because those are some of my favorite colors. Now, what I'm showing you is a chair without any pillows. So I need to either make some pillow covers for those chairs that are kind of fall colored, or purchase some. What I really would love to have are some round ruched velvet pillows to go there in kind of a burnt orange. I think that would be so pretty. So I'm on the hunt for those. All right, this little teapot I found at my local thrift store. Is it not adorable? This is what I was talking about when I said that teapot with the teddy bear on the chair reminded me of something I had thrifted, and this was it. These are some little bears having a picnic. And as you can see, it's very small. It's a very petite teapot, and the top comes off, and it is indeed an actual teapot. It does not get much cuter than that. And then this is also one of my favorite things, my mason jar wax warmer. I love this wax warmer. Trudy got me that as a gift, and it's from Walmart. It's Better Homes and Garden brand, and I absolutely love it. And I feel much better about leaving a wax warmer going and unattended than I do about a candle. So I love that thing. In fact, the other day, the little light bulb in it burnt out and we couldn't use it, and it was almost like an emergency. I had to hop immediately on Amazon to order the light bulb replacement light bulbs for it. I tried to find them at Publix, but they didn't have what I needed. Over in my kitchen, I have this little tin, and it has the different seasons on each side. So I just turned it around so that the autumn scene was facing forward. And then I thrifted for 10 cents that little pottery clock. My sister Kathleen and I have a thing for miniatures. So I was immediately smitten by this clock and had to have it. And I thought 10 cents was not too bad a price. So that's all I have over there on top of my coffee maker. And then, of course, year round, I leave out my glass jars with all my cookie cutters in it. I love the copper ones. They just bring a little fall element to things. And there's my Bites on a Board book. It's kind of hidden by my Susan Branch Autumn book. And I have those copper mugs. Copper is such a fall metal to me. And my Nora Fleming tray. And of course, since we are in the South, we have the football charm there, because in the fall, football is king in the South. And there's that Bites on a Board book. Beautiful cover to that book. Those figs and the plum colors, absolutely gorgeous. Really lovely book. And those cutting boards, the big giant cutting board was a gift that I gave to Trudy for Christmas last year. It's from J.K. Adams, which is a Vermont company. And they make the most beautiful cutting boards. Now they're a bit of a splurge, but they're worth every penny. There's an overview. I have a crock always on my countertop filled with my rolling pin collection and my wooden spoons. And that copper tea kettle I also thrifted. I love the blue and white ceramic handle on that copper tea kettle. I think it looks so pretty against the copper. And I was thinking that just looked a little too bare, so I ran out. I didn't run out. I actually went in the other room and picked up this tray that I had recently thrifted. I haven't even shared it in a haul yet, and I thought it was the perfect little pop of color behind that copper tea kettle. I love toll trays, and I thought the green on this was just gorgeous. And here in the South, there's a lot of greens still in fall, so I thought the color was perfect. Now this candle is pink, not exactly fall, but it has a delicious scent and I hadn't burned it down yet. So I kept it out, but I did put it on this darling little plate. A wonderful viewer and friend of the channel from England sent me 2 of those little plates. I think they are just adorable and has the most beautiful fall toned flowers all around the edge of it. All of the things here stay on my counter year-round. And there's the second one of those little plates. I have it tucked back behind my twine holder. That little rooster I thrifted as well. I think he was 50 cents. And I always have a platter out and I switch it out seasonally. So this is my fall platter and that is a platter that I thrifted as well. So much of my decor has come from thrift stores or vintage markets or antique stores. I love to rescue secondhand things and they bring back such wonderful memories. I had an absolutely idyllic childhood growing up in Vermont. And so I love to surround me with things that remind me of those wonderful childhood memories. And that is really, truly what I love so much about thrifting. It's just all of the memories that come back when you find an item that you remember from your childhood. It gives you just such warm feelings. In fact, I actually did a video all about the reasons why I thrift, and I will try to remember to link that video as well. One thing that I also change out seasonally is the towel that I have hanging on my oven door. And this is a beautiful Williams-Sonoma dish towel that I thrifted from Goodwill maybe 2 years ago or a year and a half or so. And then over here, as we head into the dining area of our downstairs, we have this wooden wine rack. And a lot of these things stay the same. I always have my collection of vintage cookbooks there and my plants. I did thrift that little tiny watercolor. I love that picture. And then in the back you can see a dragonfly card. That's something my mom made for me and I love the colors on it, so I keep that out year round. And then in another little thrifted crock I have my butterscotch handled knives, which were a gift from my mother. And then normally I have my beautiful Williams-Sonoma tea set that my mom gave me out, but it has kind of a more springy and summery look to it. So I swapped it out for these beautiful brown drip cream and sugar set and this brown teapot. Now these, the creamer and sugar was part of the brown drip lot that I purchased off of Facebook Marketplace, and I will be sharing a whole bunch of things that I have gathered over the last month in my next video. I'll be doing a haul and I have some really fun things to share with you, including that set of brown drip dishes. On my table I have my Nora Fleming salt and pepper shakers with the pumpkin pie slice. And that beautiful yellow and green bowl I thrifted for just a couple of dollars. And I just keep it filled with fruit on the table, just very simple. Those white candlesticks I got at the French Mercantile. And I change out the color of my candles. I have a beautiful rust-colored candle in there now. All right, another touch of fall that I've added is right here on this little desk that we have at the front entryway of our house. I thrifted that set of encyclopedias, and all I did was simply tie a brown satin bow around it and stick in a couple of pheasant feathers. have a simple white pitcher with some dried florals in it. And again, you won't see a lot of fall specific decor in my house. I like to bring in the feeling of fall through things like outside elements, you know, greenery, things, pumpkins, things that you would that are growing in nature in the fall, or that you'd find in nature in the fall, and then dishware and just a color palette. And here's a nod to my sister Patty, the brass candlesticks with the glass shade over them. She loves that look, and it's gorgeous in her house, and I love it as well. I thought those blue candlesticks, I like blue in the fall. To me, fall is blue is can be a fall and winter color as well. So I have my blue candlesticks there underneath those hurricane glasses. And then both of these little brass birds I thrifted, the quail and the owl. I would love to get a set of brass pheasants. My sister Patty has a set, and they're beautiful, and I'm always on the hunt for one. Here we are in the front room. Now, I was saying that I do like blue for fall, and these pillow covers I found that fabric at the thrift store for $1, and I was able to make these 2 pillowcases or pillow covers out of it. In fact, I have enough, I could probably make 2 or 3 more pillow covers, but I needed some pillows on that couch, so I was practicing my sewing skills, and I will be doing a video about easy envelope pillow covers, maybe like a little tutorial. Not that I'm any professional seamstress, but it's an easy project anyone can do. And then here on my ottoman, I just have a simple tray with some of those beautiful satin pumpkins that we sell in our online store in a green and champagne color. And then I just have a brass bucket with my plant in it. Very simple, but I think so pretty. And then the reddish colored dried greenery that you see in there is from the French Mercantile. And then just a few final touches of fall. This gorgeous champagne velvet pumpkin sits atop a dresser tray with some dried leaves underneath it and a very neutral palette. And I think that is also very, very pretty. Understated, but lovely and elegant. And then I have this beautiful Weller vase that I thrifted years ago. It's so beautiful. The color palette on that vase is absolutely stunning. And I think it looks so pretty with those some more of those dried florals in it. And I just have that on my bedside table. I hope you enjoyed looking at some of these fall touches in my home. And now, before we end this video, I want to leave you with a little look at Hazel. We're trying to teach Hazel to ring this bell to go out. Outside! There you go. But so far, she's taught me to ring it. You gonna go outside, Hazel? Yeah? All your toys are on the back porch, aren't they? There's her bunny. Actually, I think it's a sheep. All right, Hazel, go play. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with me. I hope you enjoyed this video, getting out and getting some inspiration And I hope you enjoyed seeing how I have brought some fall decor and inspiration and colors into my own home. I know I certainly enjoyed sharing it with you. My sisters and I appreciate each and every one of you. We thank you for all of your comments and your support of our channel. All right, everyone, that's going to do it for today. And until the next video, bye-bye.